Hey, how's it going, runner? Coach Kyle here, and today you're going to learn about some tips, tricks, pieces of advice that I give to clients, runners, and I use myself when it comes to training in the cold winter for warmer spring and summer running events. So for me, living in South Dakota, after about Thanksgiving, we don't have any really serious running events until late spring, maybe even June. Up until that point, we have a Valentine's 5K, but last year it was beautiful, perfect conditions. The year before, it was literally the worst day of winter weather of the entire year. So you never know. So I'm probably not going to do a serious race marathon until May, I think. So first off, what I want to remind you is that the most important part about the 3-month training plan before a marathon is the 3 months before that. It's good spring and summer PRs, race results. Those are made in the winter. What you do, how you do that at that marathon, it's not just what you do the 3 months beforehand. It's a long game. It's a long process to develop and prepare yourself for that event. And anything we can do, the better that we can train in the winter, the better results we're going to have in the summer. Now, that's not to say that you have to be fully on point in the winter, but you can't just slack off either if you want to really go into the spring prepared to train well for those big events. With myself in the winter, I get the mileage in. I'm running about 50 miles a week, but I'm definitely more relaxed on long runs and workouts. I don't do a lot of long runs during the winter. It's tough when it's 20 degrees outside. I don't want to go out for 18 miles. But for me, doing 10, maybe 12 miles max in the winter is good. That's a good solid running distance for that weekly long run. It's going to set me up prepared to go 14, 16, 18 miles in the spring. But there's no reason to do, to be crushing it in the winter, but get some work done as well. I usually kind of do one workout. In the warmer months, I do 2 workouts weekly. In the colder months, I go down to 1 workout weekly. And I don't even really care about what day I do that workout on. For myself personally, I do something called a mixed intensity run, where this is not every time, but I'll sometimes do a warm up, a couple miles at tempo power or speed, and then I'll do some 400s as well. So I get a mixture of tempo and some 400s or some hills in there as well. I do them on the same day, and I kind of just pick the day where I feel best, but also that has the best conditions weather-wise. And so that gives me that flexibility where, you never really know what the wind or the weather is going to look like when you're planning your training out a month in advance, or you're picking a training plan or whatever. So I'm really flexible on what specific day I do my workout on and my longer run on. And for me, my only other goal is to do 60 minutes of running every day. That's it. So I've got 1 workout, 1 medium distance run, and then at least 60 minutes a day of easy running in, and a day off. And I've got some flexibility there. Motivation is also a big factor, a big problem for some people in the winter, because it's tough. I mean, depending on where you're at, it might not be above freezing, even as a high for months. And that's hard for motivation. So things you can do for that are, group runs. I ran with a group this morning, and I definitely wouldn't have done it without that commitment saying, hey guys, I'll see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Wouldn't have happened. Motivation is something I kind of joke that I sell as a coach. I don't, sell training plans, running. I sell motivation and accountability. And, even with myself, I've hired coaches just for that motivation and that accountability. And, tonight we have a group run. Group runs, again, whatever you can do to figure out how to stay motivated and accountable with your training over the winter will help you, again, have a more successful spring and summer. Good gear is also a big factor. I'm not going to talk about that much in this video here, but I did make a full video where I went head to toe over my winter running gear. So check out that video right here. And again, that motivation, having great gear is motivation, because you know that with the gear you have, you're gonna be safe, you're gonna be warm. No matter how cold it looks outside, once you get started, once you get going, you're gonna be glad you did. So going back to those workouts, like I said, I like to do tempo runs, some 400s, some hills. Right now in the winter when the marathon is months away, you don't have to be crushing it, but don't just run easy every run, for the entire winter either. And so it takes a little bit more mindfulness to get these workouts in. And there's two ways to do it. In the past, I've had a treadmill. I don't have a treadmill anymore. I went treadmill-less this winter, and I'm glad I did. But in the past, I would do a lot of my workouts, my tempo runs, my track type workouts on the treadmill. So when I have clients that do this, we kind of ignore the pace, because your GPS watch might not do a great job of estimating your speed on the treadmill. But you can use heart rate, you can use perceived exertion, and you can run by time and just kind of estimate the workouts. And your body doesn't care if your GPS watch is accurate or not. It cares about training load, recovery, and adaptation. So heart rate, or my Coros watch uses power. So those are good ways to get good workouts in on the treadmill. And you don't have to worry about winter weather conditions, ice, etc. A treadmill is a great option for the winter. Now this winter I decided to not replace my busted treadmill, and it's been okay. I have two spots that I do like key workouts on. There's one that's exactly a mile away, and it's a bike path around a park. It's a nice perfect mile around the park, and the city here in Rapid City does a really great job of clearing the bike path. Also, my other option is exactly 2 miles away. There's a nice mile stretch of road with a huge shoulder, and that road is so salty that it's impossible for there to be ice on it. And the plows do a really great job clearing that shoulder. So I do a lot of my mile repeats. Somebody even marked with like some sort of permanent-ish chalk where the 400 start and finish is. And so, I do a lot of back and forth mile repeats, 400s right there, because it's pretty flat. And like I said, the bike path right there or the shoulder is so well cleared, so salty, that I feel really safe running there. Something else to keep in mind is that something people kind of worry about is that in the winter, it is cold, obviously. And in the summer, of course, the races are gonna probably be warmer than what you're currently training in. But keep in mind that while outside it might be 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it might be 4 degrees Celsius, whatever, but your core temp is still up. Especially if you've got really good gear on. Like I said, it can be -5 degrees outside. I'm not cold though, because I'm in a protective shell of warm weather gear. And so my core temp is up. So while it might be cold outside, my core temp, I'm still sweating. It's actually might be getting more heat adaptations from all this gear I have on when it's -10 outside than if it was 40 or 60 degrees, because I'm sweating plenty in the winter because I have all this gear on. And so don't worry so much about the heat in the spring or summer. You're still getting that high core temp, that heat adaptation in the winter. So if you have any tips or tricks or questions about successful winter training for the spring or summer events, drop them in the comments below. I love having little discussions. Give the video a thumbs up to help other runners find this video, to find some good, helpful, useful information. And straight away after this video right here, in just a few seconds, I'll show you some other videos that I think you'll find helpful in regards to that winter running success. So thanks for watching, and as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.